15 minutes before the hour on this a Monday morning, 71 degrees in downtown Sylacauga this morning, and Health Monday on this Monday morning, the 14th day of July. Aspiration pneumonia. Now, I've heard of pneumonia, but I've never heard of aspiration pneumonia. To tell us all about it is Jacob Johnson from Marble City Pharmacy. And Jake, good morning to you, sir. Glad to have you with us.
Good morning, Jimmy Dale. Glad you are on the recovery train.
I'm on the mend, sir.
Yes, yes.
Thanks in part to you guys.
You look terrible.
Well, I know. That's what Darlene tells me a lot. Aspiration pneumonia, what's this about?
You know, I know we've been on here more times than I can count to talk about pneumonia over the however many years we've been doing this. And you're sitting out there going, oh, pneumonia again? And then you go, wait a minute, they talk about this in the winter every year. It's hot outside. Why are we talking about this? This is something very different than we've ever talked about before. And honestly, it gets kind of passed over when you're talking about pneumonia more often than not. Like it doesn't happen. Oh, that's not a big deal. Just skip that one. And it's actually something that's pretty common. Aspiration pneumonia. We know pneumonia is a lung infection. It's a bacterial infection in your lungs. Aspiration pneumonia is when you get that caused by something that went down and stayed down the wrong way. Food, drink, your own saliva, your own acid, vomit, some foreign object you swallowed that went down, just anything that went down other than air that ain't supposed to be there and stays there. Now we've caused a bacterial infection. We have aspiration pneumonia. And it sounds like something that'd be pretty rare, but I got news for you, not rare at all.
Wow. I honestly, I'd never heard of it, but who is liable to get this aspiration pneumonia?
Well, it's a pretty big list, and when you think about it, it all makes sense. And the reason I wanted to talk about, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today is just how many people fall on this list of who's susceptible to getting it. You know, first you're gonna hit this on every list. People 65 and older. Sorry.
Little kids, get there one day, buddy.
Oh, listen, I might or might not. Somebody murdered me before then. But you know, little kids 5 and under are pretty common to get it. If you've just been under anesthesia and had surgery, they got all kind of stuff crammed down your throat and tubes and everything else, and makes sense. Dental procedures recently makes sense when you think about it. But where we get into our audience and a lot of people out there, if you have a disease that makes your either coughing or swallowing difficult, well, okay, well, okay, dementia, Parkinson's, are we hitting anybody out there? MS, multiple sclerosis, that's very common. If you've had a stroke or other kind of brain injury, again, now everybody's going, oh, wait, that's me, that's my spouse, that's my siblings, that's my, everybody at church. Yeah, we're starting to list everybody now, or anybody with a weakened immune system. We're listing all these things now, and they're all people who have, eventually with their disease or condition, will develop trouble swallowing or coughing up things. And it becomes a very common danger.
There's quite a number of symptoms as well, aren't they?
Goodness, yeah. You get all your typical pneumonia symptoms that, first thing, well, it means, I cough a lot. Sure, you're going to cough up stuff, and that's a given. That's not going to go away or be different. But the extreme shortness of breath with pneumonia is its hallmark. I simply cannot get enough air in. I'm trying to breathe real hard, but it's like air's not coming in. And so what you end up doing is breathing really fast, really shallow. You feel like you don't have any oxygen at all. You feel like you're drowning in it, and you're just breathing air, but you just can't breathe. And it leads to this extreme tiredness. I can't get up out of the chair. I can't breathe, I can't move, I can't walk from here to the bathroom without help. I mean, it's just wears you down to that extent. So pneumonia itself causes all of those things. And the aspiration pneumonia, this that we're adding in today, you've got now something foreign in there, that needs to come out. So your body's trying to get rid of it. You're fighting yourself this whole time, basically. It's a tough one.
Aspiration pneumonia, the topic this morning with Jacob Johnson from Marble City Pharmacy. Male, female, black, white, who's more susceptible to this?
Yes, that's the thing. It's that list we went through. Who has strokes, who has Parkinson's, who has surgery. The list goes on, and then you add in extra things like that are more common as you age.
These These are the
in
10
hospital
commandments
bed or
of summer
recliner
in the
most
South.
all day, every day, even
Commandment
when
number
you eat, which
1,
is just
thou
another
shalt
factor.
watch your tone with me.
It's
Trust me, I
everybody. It
know
doesn't
that it's hard to
respect
keep the
or
Southern hospitality
disrespect
flowing when it is
anybody.
hotter than a
Now,
Buc-ee's heat lamp outside,
Is
but
this
we
a
have
quick
got to
developing
keep it
type
civil.
of,
Mind your manners.
Pneumonia or what?
You know, technically, yes, because and think about the process. So you swallow something, food, acid, drink, whatever, goes down the wrong way and doesn't come back up because you don't feel it or can't cough it up, whatever the case may be. It takes days for whatever bacteria was with what went in there to actually develop an infection. So pneumonia itself, days to weeks to develop. But you go, hey, wait a minute. I know people that had an issue and various things that happen to them and how you prevent it that we'll talk about in a minute. I've had people have these things happen to them, and I mean hours they're in an emergency room. Yes, they don't have pneumonia yet. They have, and here's your next long word for today. You just buckle up.
I'm ready.
What they have, and it's very common, and you're not going to find a lot of write-ups on it. It's aspiration pneumonitis. Whoa,
Yeah.
tough one. It's not pneumonia yet. There's not a bacterial infection yet, but you got all the symptoms. I mean, all the symptoms. It's because that thing's already in your lung. It's already blocking your airways. It's already causing all the breathing problems. It's already causing all the tiredness. It's already causing all the pain. You just don't technically have an infection yet. It has a different name.
Can this prove fatal?
Oh, sure. Honestly, is it going to prove fatal to, a 20-year-old? Probably not, no. Is it going to prove fatal to a 65-plus-year-old who has had a stroke or who has Parkinson's or all these other things that are so common to go along with this? Developing that pneumonia, we know how fatal pneumonia can be. Well, this is a pneumonia. This is pneumonia. And once it sets the infection and becomes an infection, it's pneumonia. And we know how often people can die from pneumonia, and this the same as any other. And again, you're already picking off people that generally have some condition, like Parkinson's, whatever. And so now you've got them in the hospital with pneumonia, and can it become fatal? Yeah, absolutely. But in the person under 65, otherwise relatively healthy, something weird just happened, no, they're not going to die from aspiration pneumonia.
Is there treatment for this, or how can they be treated?
Great question. Unfortunately, the answer is yes. How you're typically going to be treated with any pneumonia is it's a bacterial infection, so you're going to get antibiotics. And since it's a pretty bad infection, you're generally going to be in the hospital and get IV antibiotics. I mean, you're going to be hooked up to all kind of tubes and hoses and wires. And you're going to be on oxygen therapy, and you're going to be getting other medications. And, if it develops quickly with that pneumonitis and you first go in, they might not start antibiotics yet because you technically don't really have an infection yet. But the oxygen, steroids, I mean, all kind of tubes and hoses still going into you. Because even though the prognosis is good, you're probably going to be just fine in a week or two, although it may take a month or two to really start feeling normal again. In that moment, it's a very critical situation. We got to get some oxygen going into this body again. And if we do that, you're going to be fine in a couple of weeks, couple months. Don't worry about it. Just you're going to be bored for a little while. But in those first few moments, I mean, it's a big deal. It's one of those where a doctor will tell you, right now, this can go either way for the next couple hours. We've got to be really aggressive, even though this is probably going to be a big bag of nothing 1 month from now. We got to get real aggressive today. Now, I'll tell you why I bring that up and why we're even on this subject today. I have a family member, a 15-year-old, in the hospital right now, over the weekend, had a seizure. Not an uncommon thing. Again, seizure disorder. Everybody out there knows somebody's got some kind of seizure disorder, right? Had a seizure. In the process of having a seizure, some stuff went down the wrong way. You don't spit it back up or cough it back up when you're in the process of having a seizure. Within hours of that seizure, I mean a critical looking condition. What in the world is going on? What do? We go to the hospital. We go to the ER. They do all kind of scans. Hey, there's stuff in your lungs. Hey, you've got this pneumonitis because it's not an infection yet. You've got this pneumonitis. You can't breathe. We're pumping the oxygen. It's not really getting better. We're pumping some more oxygen. There's a lot going on. And eventually, if you're a kid, I mean, they'll fly you, they'll helicopter you to UAB in a heartbeat. And that's where Children's, not UAB. They helicopter you to Children's in a heartbeat, and that's where my family member is right now. And so, again, a month from now, is this family member going to be perfectly fine? Yeah. But in those first handful of moments, it's a really serious issue.
Absolutely.
And so you're on a life flight. You're hooked up to all kind of stuff. And it's a long and scary process. Those first, it just sets really quickly and looks really scary. And we just don't realize how common it is, or how susceptible so many of our people are to it with their various conditions. And again, once you get it treated, get it figured out in time, give it a month of rest and like it never happened for most people. But
So
you got to get on it.
For the most people, you're going to get better. But how can you prevent this overall?
Which is way what we would rather do, right?
Yeah.
We want to prevent
Don't want
this.
that.
We don't want to go down the road. And fortunately, again, all these things I'm going to say here stand to reason, which is what we're shooting for. These underlying conditions that cause it, we got to deal. Okay, seizure disorder. We got to make sure our seizures are as controlled as they can be. Our Parkinson's is as well treated as it can be. Acid reflux causes this a lot. How many of us have acid reflux?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Controlling your acid reflux, and going to your doctor, things like that. This happens to college kids who have a wild Saturday night, and you end up pretty much comatose on your back, and your body's trying to throw up. Happens a lot to college students. So avoid excesses of things, and even legal things. Again, if you have to be on medicine that pretty much zonks you out sometimes, this is a possibility. So there's a lot of that. So if you got a family member, sit them up as much as you can while you're feeding them, that sort of thing. A lot of preventions like that. So treat your conditions, avoid excesses of things that put you out, be as seated up as possible when you are eating or drinking, and that's your best way to avoid it. And again, anything weird happens and all of a sudden I can't breathe normal, don't go, it's probably just indigestion, I'll worry about it later. You might want to get checked if that breathing really starts struggling.
Yeah. Aspiration pneumonia, our topic this morning. Jacob Johnson from Marble City Pharmacy, our guest. And, I had my esophagus stretched back last year, as a matter of fact, because I had began to choke on certain foods, and sometimes I could go hours before I could get that release. And I had that done, and you can mess around and think that it's going to be okay, and it can turn into something just like this.
Really quickly. So with that condition you have, and with the treatment for it, having to get it stretched, both of those things would go on this list of factors, because, one, trouble swallowing, trouble everything, that's certainly a factor. And then, hey, you just had a procedure where something was run down there and you were pretty much unconscious and all.
Right.
Now you've got double factors for something like this. It's really, really common.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming by this morning.
Absolutely.
Aspiration pneumonia. Jacob Johnson, Marble City Pharmacy, our guest this morning. That's going to wrap it up for us here on the show this morning.